Okay. Nice, nice. I get married again. Second time today. Thank you very much. Wow.
This is good.
So this is your school?
Yeah.
Wow. I'm really good. Nice to be here. Thanks for inviting us here.
We are looking forward to your session as well.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
basically motivating the 40 soldiers which abandoned the Global City. So she's motivating them to came back to the battle and fight. Later they were martyred and city got named.
They were called Charlie Muktas.
So you are you? Wow. Good job.
We've now been joined by our Madam Principal and the guests for the session. We welcome you, sir.
Wow.
Thank you, teachers. Thank you. A very warm namaste to all the attendees. Quoting Robert John, the most valuable resource that all educators have is each other. Without collaboration, our growth is limited to our own perspectives, I unquote. But we at Bhavan Vidyalaya Panchkula believe in collaboration, collation and dissemination of what we know and what we intend everyone to know. With this objective in mind, we've all gathered here to this very informative, enriching, engaging and thought-provoking event. On behalf of the school management, Madam Principal Mrs. Gulshan Kaur, staff and students, I deem it my pleasure to welcome the distinguished guests, principals, educators across the Tri-City to the capacity building program on pedagogic interventions to create innovative classrooms of 21st century. It is our pleasure to welcome the keynote speaker for the seminar, Mr. Makke, Global Head of Partnership Eduten, a digital math learning platform. We thank you, sir, for sparing time for us. Thank you so much. We also welcome Mr. Avan Goyal, Business Head for Southeast Asia at Eduten and also a part of Finland team. Can we have a rapturous applause for our distinguished guests? Thank you. Upholding the tradition of our school by taking yet another step towards sustainability and preserving environment, I request our worthy Madam Principal, Mrs. Gulshan Kaur, to welcome Mr. Makke with a planter. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, before we begin this event, we would like to observe a tradition that has been a part of our culture for centuries, lighting the ceremonial lamp. So with great respect, I request our revered guests, along with Madam Principal, to kindly kindle the lamp of knowledge and wisdom. My humble request to School's Vice Principal, Ma'am Mrs. Sonia Pabi, Headmistress, Ma'am Mrs. Anita Ranjan, and the Junior Coordinator, Ma'am Mrs. Radhika, to please accompany them. Our understanding of the innovative pedagogic interventions, discuss new ideas and explore different perspectives. It is my honor to welcome the keynote speaker of the session, Mr. Makke, Global Head of Partnership Eduten, a digital math learning platform based in Finland. Sir is an expert in learning design, learning analytics, and leadership in schools and corporations. Sir has over 20 years of experience and is one of the leading experts in the field of future skills, motivation, growth mindset, self-confidence, sales in education, and coaching psychology. He has authored several books on leadership, growth mindset, and self-confidence. My humble request to Sir to share his futuristic, growth, and goal-oriented views on Finnish perspective for school leadership. And this session will be followed by a question-answer round. Over to you, Sir, Mr. Makke.
It's my privilege to be here. Can you all hear me also in the back? Can you hear me? Oh yeah, good. Thank you very much for inviting me here. It's really a privilege to be here and see you all spending this time with me and with all together. The main reason, of course, why we are here today is learning. That's why we all do this job. Learning something new for ourselves and, of course, helping and supporting kids to learn as well. I would say that it's the most important job in the world, what we all do here. Learning new things and also helping others to learn. So thanks for doing this great job and supporting all the kids here in India to learn. That's my mission as well, to help kids around the world to learn new things. This might be on, maybe it's on this other mic. Maybe. Oh, is it? Okay. Okay, maybe that's fine. Okay. So I came all the way from Finland to here, and there are three things why I love India. Does anyone know what are those three things? What do you think? Why this kind of man?
Hospitality.
Hospitality, yes. What else? Culture.
Food.
Food. Good. Yeah, pretty much those things. First time I came to India 2004, and there was a reason. The reason was Mahatma Gandhi. I'm a big fan of Mahatma Gandhi and all his ideas. I have read all the books about him, and I wanted to just visit in Delhi and see all the museums. That was the reason. And that's one reason. I really like the idea that we need to be the change that we want to see in the world. We all can do small things and change the world. It's starting with you, and then it's starting with your classroom and with your school. We all can put small things into action and implement. So I like that Mahatma Gandhi's idea. Yeah, second thing is food. You have the best food, and I have had a lot of food during my visit. I arrived here last Friday. Then the third thing is the thing that I'm just seeing here. It's the smile. You always smile. Whatever happens to Indian people, and in here, we saw that what happened in pandemic, you always smile. And as I come from psychology point of view, smiling is really important. So that's really important. Keep doing that. And I love that in your culture. Really must always smile. I would like to start my presentation with the video. So my first part of my talk will be about Finland. So I will bring some taste of Finnish scenery, and then I will talk about also Finnish education, so education in Finland, and then I will bring some leadership perspective for that. So that's my agenda. But first I would like to show this video, and one of the reasons is of course that I want to give a little taste of Finland, but also in order to learn, when I look at learning from psychological point of view and from our brain point of view, in order to learn something new, or in order to absorb some new information, we need to make space. We need to make room for our brain to learn new things. And nowadays we are really busy with devices, all different kind of tasks, everything what is happening. Sometimes it's good to calm your mind down, take a moment, just experience some beauty and enjoy the moment. And that's a good way also to prepare our mind to learn something new. So, let's have a 4 minutes video. Let's look at this video. Take a nice posture, enjoy the music, enjoy the scenery, and then I will go a bit deeper with Finnish perspectives. Okay, this is a good interaction between me and the guy there. Can we go to my first slide? I was already introduced, repeat much, but yeah, I'm coming from a psychological background. I have done my master's in psychology, and that's my point of view when we are talking about learning and education. And digital learning is one of my themes as well nowadays. So a couple of things about Finland you might know, but Finland is located next to Sweden, so we are part of Scandinavian countries, and also we are next to big Russia as well. This is important to remember and tell you students and kids at home as well. Santa Claus lives in Finland, in north of Finland. It's called Lapland. Always remember to be kind in order to get a lot of kids at Christmas time. But there he lives. One thing is good to understand as well, if you want to collaborate with Finnish people, we are quite aloof, quite introverted. We don't open up that easily, but if you take a Finnish person to sauna, we all have saunas at home, so then they will start to talk. I know you have a good experience because you have the world's biggest sauna here in India. You just go outside and it feels like being in the sauna. But we have cold weather, so we need saunas in Finland. This is something that you should one day try as well. So our lakes are frozen for 6 months a year, and we still like to swim, especially after sauna. So you make a hole and go there, dip there. I can tell it's really cold, but it makes you feel really good. You can try that at home. Just put really a cold shower or put cold water or a lot of ice into the bucket. But that's many people's hobby nowadays. They want to jump onto frozen lake. In the summertime, you can't find any Finnish people on streets in cities because everybody goes to countryside and goes to summer cottages. So we love our summer cottages. We love silence. I was a couple of days in South India and in Hyderabad and in Mumbai, and this morning I landed here and I felt that this is like Finland. It was really quiet, 8 a.m. at the airport and in this city. Really different to Mumbai and Hyderabad. And it's quite dark in Finland. So 6 months a year we are quite dark. So it might be that you don't see sun. I haven't seen sun for many months, so it was nice to come here and see sun. So we need northern lights to stay optimistic about all the darkness. So now you know more about Finland, and now you can tell and share all this knowledge with your families and also with your students in your classroom. But then the question is, what do you know about education in Finland? Any comments? Do you know anything about education in Finland?
6 years they have this one teacher who teaches from maybe grade 1 to...
Yes, in primary school you have the same teacher. That was a good...
There are no homeworks?
No work.
No homeworks.
Yes, that's a myth. So everybody always thinks that Finnish kids don't have homework. They have homework. My son is 9. He doesn't have often because he really rushed, because you can do homework at school if you rush really fast. But all kids have. But it doesn't take as long as in many countries. For example, in China, I know that kids are spending 4 hours per day. Finnish kids maybe spend 15 or 30 minutes. We really appreciate spare time, your free time with families and your friends. It's really important to us. That's why we don't want to give too much homework for children. Anything else?
The classroom setting, it's more like round table for...
But that's a good word, yeah.
But as compared to the
Asian school systems, education systems, they have like systematic rows and columns for students, but I'm seeing in documentaries that students, they likely to sit in a round table.
Round table. Really good point. Yeah, not all, but most nowadays have most classes and schools. And there is a point. The reason is social learning. So I really believe in learning by having dialogue. Dialogue means that you communicate with each other. That's the way how you learn to be a good school leader as well. You read books, then you talk with your colleagues or your friends or with your teachers, and you get feedback, and that's the way. That's the way how kids should learn in schools as well. For example, in mathematics, you can talk about those different topics, not only focus on your own task. So that's a good point. So I really believe in learning by having dialogues, creating that kind of culture in schools. Yeah. Okay. Couple of things, couple of fundamental things of Finnish education. So it's free, and what I always say is that we are a really, really small country. We have only 5.5 million people in Finland. So it's really different comparing to India. So something that works in Finland wouldn't work here. There might be some things that work, but not all. You cannot change the whole India education system in one day. It wouldn't work like that. Many things are here better than in Finland. People just see that Finland is something glorious in education because there is a lot of documentaries, etc. There are good things, but we also have a lot of things that we should develop. But our government decided that our education is free, but it means that I pay a lot of taxes, and all the people pay a lot of taxes. So that's one decision. I like it, but not all people like it, that you need to pay 30 or 40% of your salary every month goes to taxes, and then that goes to schools. That's why it's free. And teachers have a lot of autonomy to make decisions. Teachers at master level, that's one of the decisions there as well. Compulsory education until age 18. That's important for us as well. We want to educate our kids. And one thing where we put focus on nowadays, or already started to put 20 years ago, is hybrid learning. We managed to do Corona really well. We don't have big learning gap in Finland, but they're developing a couple of things. One was our digital learning culture, but the other thing is that our Prime Minister and government decided that we don't do distance learning, only 4 weeks. So we didn't have that 2 years. But you couldn't do it here. This is a big country. We are a small country. We were able to do that. So our kids don't have that social gap because they didn't stay 2 years at home. So we were fortunate with them. Typical school day start, we have quite short school days. It's starting 8 a.m. or 9 a.m., sometimes even 10 a.m. My son went to school this morning a couple of hours ago. It was 9 a.m. Fridays he goes to school 10:30. We have a 45 minutes lessons. Sometimes a bit bigger, but sometimes a bit longer. But we believe that kids cannot concentrate for a long time. It's no point to have too long lessons. Your brain cannot take all that information. You need to have breaks, you need to talk to your classmates, you need to do something else, you need to play. So we need brain-based breaks. That's why we have created this system in Finland. We also have free lunches, now free lunch, that's important. We believe in health food. From your point of view, it's not healthy or not at least tasty. But we were born with that food and we're okay. But your food is way better. By the way, we have a lot of Indian restaurants in Finland. Finnish people really love Indian restaurants. But unfortunately, they are not that authentic that you have here. So you are really lucky with food. After the school day, this is one important thing. And I have traveled around the world a lot. And so I know that families are important here as well. Families are important in Finland, and we really try to have device-free time, for example, in my family and many other families. We don't use devices evening time. We try to communicate with each other. We encourage our kids to spend a lot of time with their friends. That's how life should be, I think. According to many happiness research as well. You need to spend time with your colleagues, with your friends, communicate, etc. really emphasize their free time. And that's why it's good that Finnish school doesn't, like kids don't have too long days. We have hobbies, but then kids also have a lot of time to spend time with their friends. Okay, that was short course of Finland education. Now you know a lot about Finland education. Now we jump to the next topic, what is leadership. I used to train leaders for 25 years, and I have written a couple of books, quite many books about leadership as well. Still, I feel like it's really important, really difficult to lead people and lead organizations and institutions and also schools. And you are better experts how to lead schools. And for example, this school, I have seen a lot of schools. I can see that here is nice culture. Here is warm culture. It's nice to come here. I can see from the walls all the creativity of kids. And one thing, I have gone to quite many schools in this trip as well. And do you know how I normally realize what kind of culture is in the school? The thing is, when I see the first student, how does he interact with me? Does he come to talk to me and say, how are you? Or is he interested in me? That tells a lot about culture. It tells about the kids that they are keen on learning new things. And it happens in this school. It happens in many schools as well in India. Nothing more. And that's something what is better here than in Finland. Our kids are quite aloof. We are not socially the best, and we try to improve that. But let's talk about characteristic of a good educational leader. We have a lot of knowledge here, a lot of experience. So tell me, how do you know what kind of leader is good? Yes. Really good, yeah. Patient listener.
Someone who can inspire.
Inspiring. Inspiring, yeah. What is inspiration? How do you know that someone is inspiring?
If I can make someone think about something without giving much information. If I tell my students about some concept and I just make them so curious that when they go home, they try to learn more about it.
Yes, so you know how to motivate them, how to inspire them. Yeah, it's a good leader.
Yes,
you have a vision and you want all.
A good leader who knows the way, shows the way, and how goes the way also.
Yeah, that's really good. Many things. So you have a vision and you have an implementation plan, and then you put your hands into action. You don't just talk. Yeah. Good answers. Yes. Yes.
He practices what he teaches.
Really good. So pretty much I'm useless here. You know all of the answers. Really
also
good.
be a role model for the others.
Yes. Yes. One more.
Team player.
Team player. Yes, very good. Very good. Yeah. Listener. One more there. She's so excited to answer them. Oh, there's okay.
So I think a good listener is the one who appreciates in front of everybody, but when it comes to counseling or probably pointing out mistakes, then it has to be in isolation and not in front of everyone. So I think that's a quality of a good leader, is to appreciate in front of everybody and should counsel in isolation.
Yes, really good. Someone was there waiting.
I think education leader is the one who creates a community of self-motivated learners.
Yeah.
Ones who want to work curious, who want to learn.
Wow.
Leader should be good planner, execute also, and thereafter follow up.
Yes.
Which is very important.
Very important. not only talking.
Also should be able to speak to others.
A good educational leader is a student, is a teacher, and then he becomes an educational leader.
Yeah.
He has you can say, understand every stage, mindsets, requirement, and take the ways as per the requirement of things.
Okay, thank you. Really, really good answers. So you have really thought about this. Some of you could write a book about leadership very. Okay, I'll share some ideas. There was a good thing. We all need leadership skills. So pretty much, students are educational leaders. They lead in their own way in a classroom. And one thing is, if you can create that culture that they can lead there, they get responsibility. Sometimes they can teach some things to each other, etc. Then teachers, of course, teachers have a big role in education leadership. And then principals, of course. So we are all in schools, we are educational leaders, and we have an important role. The world is full of different educational leadership styles. I don't go deep into these things. There are instructional leadership styles, transformational, and the thing what I'm talking here now is positive leadership. I used to study positive psychology at the University of Sydney. It's a new approach for psychology where you focus on things that is working really well. For example, we could do a research in this school and look at all the strength of this school's culture and all the things what is going well. So originally, psychology was developed to only focus on negative things, and it was developed after the Second World War, when there was a lot of misery, there was a lot of suffering, and it focused on those things that are really important in order to help those people. But then, about 20 years ago, some psychologists realized that we also need to look at those that are doing well, who are happy, and then all the others can learn from them. But yeah, that approach is something that we are now developing in a positive leadership approach. And here are the 4 pillars of positive educational leadership. And if we start with positive climate, for example, this is thing that I can see here. Here is nice warm culture in these schools, and many other schools where I visited here in India as well. Because the climate, it really helps kids to stay, and all the faculty, employees, teachers and everybody to stay positive. And there is a lot of research that positive emotions really influence on everybody's learning. So when you feel positive, you stay optimistic. And when you stay optimistic, your brain learns better, get more insights about things. The reason why I wanted to show the video at the beginning was to create a focused and positive atmosphere and climate to this room. I knew that you've been busy before coming here, so you have many things in your mind. So I wanted you to calm down and feel positive in order to learn new things. And I have taught kids for 25 years. And every time, especially nowadays, you know everything about mindfulness in this country. You have a good culture here about mindfulness and meditation. Actually, my first trip when I came here, I went to meditation course here as well. And then spent 1 month in Himalaya to learn more about Buddhist meditation. But nowadays, you know how is it with kids. They love games, they love YouTube, They love all screen time. It influences on their brain. The concentration skills of kids are not that good as it used to be 30 or 25 years ago. So teachers need to be quite entertainers nowadays. But it's not only kids. All of us like to use devices because it's somehow entertain us. We get dopamine, so our brain gets dopamine, and dopamine makes you feel good. That's why we go to Facebook, we go to Instagram, we read newspapers, digital newspapers, etc. And it's relaxing. But it has influence on kids as well. So, in order to create positive climate in classrooms, every now and then when you feel like students are not able to listen to you anymore, teach them to do mindfulness practice. It might take only 1 minute, and it calms their mind down. When they just focus on something or close their eyes and focusing on their breathing. It doesn't take long, but there is a huge influence. I have done that for many, many years, and I can feel that straight away with my students. And they have learned to do that as well. But it's coming from positive climate. Then, positive meaning. One thing that we should have in schools, of course, is why do we come here today? What is the purpose? Why do kids come here? Why do teachers come here? Why all the managers come here and leaders? And you know, mission. Many schools have mission now, and you talk about mission. But it's really important that you take that to all different levels, that students know that as well. Why we are here? We are not here because or I hope they don't come here to road learn all the rivers of India. Because they can stay home and go to Google and do that. Or ChatGPT or something else. I hope they come here because they love learning new things together with their student mates. Or they want to learn something from the teacher, or they want to interact and communicate with their friends. All that kind of knowledge we can learn from Google. But you cannot communicate with Google or ChatGPT. Okay, you can try to do it nowadays, but it's never the same. And when I came to this school, I could see on the writing there straight away, so there is a mission as well. So that meaning is important, that it's positive, that meaning, and all understand why we come to the school every day. Then is positive communication. I couldn't emphasize and focus on enough on that. All of us who are here, we know how it's nice to have a nice chat. In Finland we do that, we go to the sauna, take a couple of beers, and communicate with our friends. That's the way, if you wanna hear something from Finnish men's emotion, that's the only place where they are able to share their emotions. They go to the sauna and take a couple of beers. But we don't need to go to the sauna, we can do it everywhere. If we have that culture, that positive communication. So my main thing is that we should ask from each other. We should ask from each other, what did we learn today? What did I learn today? What kind of insights I got? And then share that with each other. With colleagues, teachers can talk to each other and learn from each other, having that dialogue. But also in a classroom, we should more and more be facilitators and ask questions from students and help them to give answers. Because that will be the future. You don't need to know answers, because all the answers come from ChatGPT or Google. But the skill what you need in the future is how to ask clever questions. That will be important for students as well. Learn that how to ask important questions or clever questions. And you will see that soon that will be asked in classrooms. That you are, or like students will create questions and they will create exercises, for example mathematics. And then you put that on ChatGPT and then you try to get good answer. So it will turn this whole idea of learning, that we are, as a learners, trying to find answers. We try to find good questions. If you don't know what ChatGPT is, quite trendy now, so it's the open AI, so it's new artificial intelligence platform where everybody's talking about. What will influence on learning? Of course, already now, high school and university students, all the essays, or many students use that in order to get the essays done. So we need to structure the whole learning in a new way. So that was a little bit about positive leadership. So I already talked about. So positive climate means that you are able to create trust. As a leader, you trust to other people. So someone said it's really good that you are a role model. That's the way how you build trust in families. You trust your kids and they learn what is trust. Same in schools. You give responsibility for some students, for example, plan and listen about some new math topic. That's their task. You trust them and then the whole culture will be built by that. Then one thing is that what is important in positive leadership is that we focus on strength. That might be everyday stuff for you, but you could never focus too much on that. Easily we see what is wrong and what should be developed. It's easy to give feedback for students, for teachers, if you are educational leadership, about things what is not working or what is weaknesses. But more and more we should focus on strength. When a student graduates from a school, I think one important thing should be that he or she knows at least two main strengths of him or her. It builds the whole foundation of your life. We have different strengths. We are not all the same. But quite often kids don't really know their strengths. So what I do with my students, I let them to talk to each other and say that they give feedback to each other about their strengths. They can even write that down. I don't know, have you ever done that? It's called gratitude letter or strength letter, that all the kids talk about good things about one student. And you might have that letter at home, because you never want to get rid of it. Because it feels so good to get feedback about your strength and your positive sides. So that creates a good climate, and that's good communication when we focus on strength and praise each other. Because there is enough time when we focus on our weaknesses. Okay, I will give you now 2 minutes, and you turn to the person next to you, and then the question is, what's the one thing what I could implement into my job from positive leadership? Things that I have heard so far. So 2 minutes, have a dialogue. What have you learned so far? What are you going to put into practice tomorrow? With your students or with your colleagues? Thank you. Let's continue. My 2 points so far, what I haven't emphasized here. Remember to have dialogues. So that's the best way. Social learning. Learning from each other, what we just did here. The other thing is trust. Trust creates good culture. It builds good culture, good positive climate. Let's go a little bit further. Next I want to talk a little bit about digital learning as well, before you can ask questions. One thing where we really focus on Finland is positive leadership at the moment. The other thing is digital learning. And this is also one of my most favorite topics, because there is so much misunderstanding about digital learning, especially because of Corona. Corona, I think, gave us quite bad taste of digital learning. What is the other end of spectrum, other end of digital learning? And now we have realized this hybrid model is maybe the right way to go. But I really felt for the students who spent 2 years at home, and also all the families as well. One thing that I always would like to remind people, that there is positive screen time and then is negative screen time. That not all screen time is always negative. Not YouTube is always negative, for example. For example, my son has learned a lot of things from YouTube. Not always. There is a lot of swearing as well, but he has permit to watch YouTube some amount of time per week and play some games as well. It's a little bit negative screen time, but it's also learning. Then you don't do that too much. And it's same with digital learning. It's not only, it's positive screen time when you do it in the right way. And normally then I start to talk about gamification. As I say nowadays, we need new ways to motivate students. And for example, teachers here in this school, I know that you use gamified platforms, and you are used to with that. Sometimes it might motivate students, sometimes maybe not. But motivation is a big thing nowadays. It's a big thing in schools. I have traveled in so many countries, and always we talk about motivation, how to motivate students. And one important thing is that students need to know what's the purpose of learning something. So you need to tell them. You need to motivate them, inspire, like you said. It was a good word. The other thing is that what I just said earlier about you need to teach students and teachers as well to learn to love having discussions with each other. So that's the best way to learn as well, the social aspect of learning, social learning. And the third thing is that then I'm talking about gamification as a good tool. Because kids are used to having games nowadays. So we started the research from my home university, where I'm coming from, University of Turku, Finland. 20 years ago we started to research gamification. And now around the world they're using gamified platforms, and we get really good learning results. But also, if you do that too much, it loses its influence. So there needs to be a nice balance between having dialogue about different things. If you only do dialogue learning, that doesn't work. If you only use teaching, for example, that kids don't get active at all, that doesn't work. If you only use digital learning and gamification, that doesn't work. So the combination of different learning methods are really important. And that's the thing what we try to do in Finland at the moment, and we do a lot of research about that. And as we have done a lot of research, we can see that there is influence on students' motivation and also love of learning. Especially with students who don't really like some subject, for example mathematics. When you use gamification, it influences on their motivation in a new way. How many of you, by the way, love mathematics here? Couple of them. Some people, but not all of us. I used to love in primary school, but then I hated in high school. Something happened. I lost my interest. I didn't know why to do it. I regret a little bit, because sometimes it would be easy if I put more effort. But not all of the kids don't love some subject. And we do research about mathematics. But we know that when they use gamification, it really influences on some students' motivation. So there are good research about that. And then I come from Eduten, and sometimes talk about that point of view that it's good to try different gamified platforms or gamified methods. It's not only that you need digital platform for that. You can do gamification in a classroom without any tools or digital tools as well. So I really encourage to do that as well. Then next, I have an offer for you. So we have created this in Finland, this positive educational leadership course, and it's free online course. And you maybe heard 10% of positive leadership in this my 1 hour talk. But there is much more. And I really encourage, if you wanna develop your skills, learn something new, take a couple of your colleagues and do the online course. We will send you all the instructions. Do the course and share all the insights to each other. And then you know more about leadership. And then you think about what could be takeaway for me about this approach. This is just one approach with positive leadership. The best leadership way is that you create your own. You take something from that approach, something from different approach, and there, of course, as I said about Finnish education, we cannot bring Finnish education straight, for example, this school would work. You just need to take some parts that fit with your understanding of leadership, with your strength, and with your environment as well. So, this is our offer, this is gift from Finland to you, this positive educational leadership course. You will get a certificate as well when you, if you're going to do it. But now it's time for a couple of questions. Do we still have time for a couple of questions, or is the next time already taken? 3 minutes. Oh. Anyone? You can ask anything what you want. Yes?
I would like you to explain more about the hybrid system of learning that you are using in the Finnish schools.
Hybrid?
The hybrid system of learning that you are talking about, that is being used in your school. Can you shed some light?
I would say that there are 4 elements in hybrid learning, as I see it and what we use in Finland. I have already covered everything, but I'll repeat it again. So, because I said one bit in one part and then the other one in another part. But one thing is sharing knowledge. So that's what teachers do. You know something about Indian culture, Indian history. You want to share that with your students. So sharing knowledge. That's one thing. Then is learning by doing. So you do projects. I can see from this school ball there is a lot of projects. It's an excellent way of learning. Then is learning by having a dialogue. So trying to encourage, facilitating a lot of dialogues, a lot of that social learning aspect. Communication, positive communication, talking to each other. What did I learn today? What am I going to learn tomorrow? What was my insights? What am I going to put in? What am I going to implement from this information? And fourth thing is digital learning. So that's the core pillars of hybrid learning, what we do in Finland at the moment. It's nothing new. Most of the things you already do. Sometimes it's just good to emphasize those. You might sometimes forget something. Any more questions?
Namaste sir, my name is Ishika. Like during the presentation we discussed about ChatGPT and digital content. So I just wanted to know what is your interpretation or how would you describe the correlation between the rampant, that is the technological, industrial 4.0 technological revolution that is happening. How would you correlate the technological revolution that is happening and the modern education? How would you correlate these two entities?
Did you say correlate?
Yes. How would you? What would be your interpretation? How would you describe it?
That's a huge question. I pretty much, my opinion is that I said the same what I said earlier about ChatGPT, that those machines, computers, ChatGPT will give us answers straight away, really good answers, whole essays for you. So we don't need that knowledge anymore, or we don't need that function that we need to remember something and then do it. So we need to learn to ask those questions. We need to learn and understand what are questions we need in the world in order to learn. Because then there is this machine who will give the answer for that. So, but I don't have better answer because it's huge thing what is happening at the moment. And still we need to remember, education has been quite similar for hundreds and hundreds of years. It won't totally change. As long as we talk to each other and communicate with each other about our insights and feelings as well. Sometimes in a classroom it's really good to share feelings, to learn to share feelings, and that's one big thing, that social emotional learning. What is big thing here as well is happening in Finland. So I think it's always balanced between traditional, we have learned that some things during the past 400 years, we have learned that some things work. Still, teacher has knowledge and it's good to share it. Yes. Okay, one more question and then... Okay.
The question she asked, I feel there's a lot of information nowadays and accessible
Sorry,
very
please.
easily. I think I'm loud.
Yep.
Okay. So I think there's a lot of information nowadays. I think I'm audible, is it?
I think that's
Sir, I believe, it's not working.
Okay.
I believe that there's a lot of information nowadays and it's important to access it, and as you said that now we are free of learning the information as it's mugging up, so we can think out of box, so we can be more creative. So even if you're talking about digitalization and ChatGPT, I believe that if we have those kind of resources, we can work more on creativity and thinking out of box and not just mug up the facts which are there, the information that is there in the system. That's what my point is.
Yes, really good point. And this will be my last sentence, sort of summary. Unfortunately, we all know what grades, like marks and grades and exams, where they lead to. They influence on a lot of our love of learning. But I think that the most important thing for educational leaders is to create this environment and climate where students learn to love learning. And if you can do that, you have pretty much done the most important thing. Then they will learn, they will seek information, they know how to get information, but they need to have that passion that I want to learn new things. If you don't have that, you only do things for teachers, your parents, and for exams, then you will start to hate learning. That happened to me in high school, and then it took years to get back to that passion. Yes, thank you very much.
Yes, add more curiosity, content, value to learning.
Yes, more curiosity. Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. In a very candid way, you've been able to build that connect and resonate the fact that education is all about preparing future leaders. Thank you so much, sir. I request Madam Principal Mrs. Gulshan Kaur to present sir with a small token of gratitude from our side. Thank you. It is my pleasure to introduce our keynote speaker of this session, Ma'am Dr. Mrs. Pawan Sudhir, Professor and Head Department of Education in Arts and Aesthetics, NCERT, New Delhi, for today's event. Ma'am is a renowned expert in the field of art integrated learning, art education and life skills education. With more than 32 years of experience and numerous accolades to her credit, she is changing the face of teaching and learning methodologies. Dear audience, due to some last-minute assignment designated to ma'am from the Prime Minister's office, she couldn't make herself to the event, but we are glad and thankful to ma'am that she has joined us virtually today. Thank you so much, ma'am. Over to you, Pawan ma'am.
Thank you, Gulshan ji, and the whole team of Bhavan Schools. हम लोगों का आज का इंटरेक्शन जो है थोड़ा मुश्किल तो लगने वाला है आपको, क्योंकि मुझे आप सब बहुत धुंधले दिखाई दे रहे हैं और बहुत बड़ा ऑडिटोरियम है. I hope you are able to hear my voice properly and कोई इको वगैरह वहाँ पे ना हो.
Yes, ma'am, we are able to hear you.
Okay, so disadvantage मेरा है क्योंकि मैं आपके सामने नहीं हूँ. You all are together, so you can still feel better. But I'm really missing the physical presence and that the vibes which you get from the live audience, जो यहाँ से मुश्किल होता है. But I'm sure that you will try slightly extra to be with me and to experience whatever we want to experience today. So our topic is very interesting, but slightly difficult in this kind of situation, because whenever I conduct a program, I never do it in a conference hall, because when we are in a conference hall, we really cannot do hands-on experiences. And art integrated learning is all about the hands-on experience. You should do activities, and then only you can really go through the whole process which we require you to do. But anyway, let's try, because we are all learning, and such big groups can be handled virtually. So let's try our best in this 1 hour. Since educational psychology says that none of us has focus more than 10 minutes. Even if we are best of the learners, we cannot focus on one topic or any topic for more than 10 minutes. And you are already in a session, you need a break. But that break can be dangerous for the time that is given to me, so we will utilize it as part of the pedagogy, because pedagogy says that you should get up, you should experience something else. So let's try in this kind of circumstances what best we can do. So I would just ask you to close your eyes. Honestly close your eyes, though I can't see that you have closed or not, but I trust you. So close your eyes and try to think of a tree with a artistic shape that you like or you have seen, you have climbed during your childhood, or you have liked to sketch it, or maybe you like it in one of the pictures when you were taking selfie in front of that, because that's good for a long time now. Yeah, to think of a tree. Now I just ask you to stand in front of your seat, and with closed eyes, you try to get into same shape which you have seen this tree in. No? Maybe it is a very artistic like this, or is very straightforward, or is stretching like this, or is tedha, or is dry. So just try to be yourself. Don't think about anybody else standing near you. You just have to experience that tree which you like the most. Try to feel like tree, its texture, the foliage, which color leaves it has. Did you experience it during the heavy wind or during hot season like we are experiencing right now? Was it winter? Or maybe rainy day? If you are a tree, how will you feel at that moment? Just virtually hug the tree compassionately, and you can open your eyes. Thank you very much. We can sit now. In art integrated learning, this kind of small exercises are called as energizers or icebreakers. This is very, very important to bring our learners back to us and to create a disconnect, a positive disconnect from what they have gone through. Whether your session is the first session, or is after lunch, or is before the time is getting over. I think this kind of energizers or icebreakers are always healthy for us as facilitators and for children as learners. My voice is eating my system. I don't know whether it's okay with you or not. Gulshan ji, you can confirm whether I am audible properly.
Yes, ma'am, you are, and it's not echoing here.
Okay, that is great. That is great. Okay. So, अभी हम जो है ये सोचते हैं कि ये तो आधे मिनट का या just 35 seconds experience that you have gone through, what all it connects to a learner too, because subject will come later on. First, let's just in a quick 1 minute you write on a writing pad, just write where all it connects. If we talk of subjects, where, and otherwise also as an effective domain, as the emotional side of a learner, where does it connect? Just half of that, not more than that. Whatever comes to you. Even if you write 4 to 5 words, it's more than enough. But I know business of your type, because I have been told by Gulshanji that this is very creative and a group which takes interest in innovations and new learning. थैंक यू। गुलशन जी, किसी भी एक वॉलंटियर को करे, फोर्स नहीं किसी को करेंगे। एनी वॉलंटियर who likes to share can share what did she or he thought of it. Just one volunteer. You can ask for the mic here.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Very good afternoon.
When I thought of the tree with its dark brown branches and olive green leaves, I thought of a lazy afternoon that I spent at my Nani's place with the kachi caddy hanging from its branches. But it just transported me to a very happy place. Just for those 1 minute that you asked us to envisage the tree.
Thank you. Thank you. Anything else you would like to add?
Yes, you asked about the subject integration, so that's why I was.
Yeah.
So that tree stood my Nani's dalan for a long period of time. So we were told history, like what happened around that tree, how many generations spent their lives around that tree. Also, it ingrained, like without any big science or anything of it, but just because I had that connection with that tree, it ingrained a love of trees in me forever, for my entire life. I did not have to learn it in books. It came from that interaction that we spent with that tree when I was 3 or 4 years old, sitting in my Nani's lap. So I think more than what I ever read or taught, that helped me understand the value of trees, not only in our biology, not only in our sustenance, but in our culture. Like, to understand that they are one amongst us. They are no other, like they are not a separate species. They are a pillar in our construct. So this is it.
Thank you very much, because it says a lot. And all my friends sitting in the auditorium will excuse us that we are not giving this opportunity to listen to them. I know they all have such experiences to share, and maybe if I listen to all of you, I will be going back as a better learner. Yeah, but all kind of difficulties, not giving time and not listening to your experiences. So let's come back to this. See, whatever we did, we tried to break the monotony, because our mental ability is of learning for hours and hours together if this kind of breaks in between. And children, we all know, are going through a hell lot of stress. We are on this side where stress level is not that much. But remember your days when you were students, parents, teachers, community, and all kinds of comparisons. It was pressurized to learn and only learn, nothing else. And we have a limitation. You cannot force the brain. You cannot force them to learn at your speed. We as teachers, maybe parents will not understand this, but we as teachers, we have undergone B.Ed and M.Ed curriculum, our own teacher education programs, which were of course not the kind which we would like to be today, but whatever we did go through the learning theories, the psychology of mind, how do we feel better and how do we learn new things, how to interrelate things. So if you remember all the theories, you will find that whatever we are trying to do with art integrated learning is based on that. Only thing is that we are thinking out of the box. So from here, now just reinforce that point, that giving breaks after 10 minutes of like focused learning is healthy for the teacher and the taught both. So this is the first point. Now the second point. When teacher thinks that she or he is the source of learning, is a big blender. You are not. You are just one tiny part of it. You are a very good organizer. You are a facilitator. You can't force children to learn. So what we should do? What does the psychology say? That learning has to be experiential. The whole NEP document is loaded with such recommendations where experiential learning, competency-based learning, holistic learning, sustainable learning, all these points are given again and again. So what is experiential learning? We all understand. But sometimes we think that the experiences are only conducted in the classroom, but if you don't have experiential learning, you won't have. I have given you an opportunity to understand that 1 minute experience by you of becoming a key. I did not provide you any platform. You were not on the stage. You were not in that dress. You did not use anything else than your body. So you see how easy it is to lead the learner towards experiential learning. If we have those kind of conditions where they can really stand together, because I do it face and also in a good training place where you can work as a group, it works with wonders. Because I asked a group of learners together, like maybe 8 or 10, and if there is time later on, we Madam who can conduct this kind of activity, then 8 to 10 teachers together. They are thinking what kind of tree they are. There is a slight music, so light music is played, and they are all in that mood. And they all look so beautiful because somebody is like this, other is very straight, other is bending forward that this tree has been cut. Somebody is saying, sitting down and saying, I'm cut from the top. I have experienced so much during face-to-face trainings when we have teachers and we have the space. So, but we could do it just sitting in a conference hall. So that shows that children, when not in a situation or who are not in a situation where you can conduct what kind of experience, longer experience, try to connect with their earlier experiences of childhood, of when they were ननिहाल गए थे, अपनी ग्रैंड माँ के पास गए थे, मम्मी के गांव गए थे, उस तरह की चीजों को लाके किसी जर्नी का उदाहरण दे सकते हैं. When they were traveling to a lake area, what kind of trees they saw? No, you will see that every child is different and unique. They will all think of different things. And if you have time, which I should say that once at least you could do that kind of activity, even if you pressurize with the time, the children have a complete experience and most of them share their experience. Because sharing is not just for your satisfaction or for their satisfaction, it's for language improvement. Is for the listening skills. When somebody is speaking, we are listening. And when we are listening, we are deeply thinking so much, which connects to not only one topic or one theme of EVS, but language, mathematics. As a good planner or organizer, facilitator, you can take this one experience to so many of your themes or lessons of that particular class. and you can share if it is done with the colleagues, then you also get an idea that now this experience has been conducted. So how do I connect? For example, we did it with EDS class. Now let me do it with my language class. I'm not conducting the experience, but I'm taking the lead of that experience, connecting it with that experience and making them talk, making them write. For example, what I do it and which works fantastic, that I ask children to draw the kind of trees they now, after listening to others, have motivated to draw. So they do half a page drawing. Then I say, now you have to write at least 25 lines appreciating the experience and appreciating this particular object. Can be tree, something else, whatever the experience we have had. And you will see these 20 to 25 sentences come from art. And many times what one child is saying, another is saying slightly different than that. Don't you? This whole process leads to creativity, because we keep on talking about experiential learning and creativity. These are the buzzwords, and we all say, but creativity hardly takes place in our classrooms. So how small things where we do not have any experience on the part of management or from school or from government or from the community of parents. And say Hindi में अपन कहेंगे हींग लगेगा फिटकरी रंग दिया चोखा. So in small time, in the formal setting, what all we could do without getting pressurized of our not being good artists, good drawing person or a theatre person or a singer or a dancer or a photographer or a videographer, whatever. Our children do everything. Okay. So from this, now we come to that in art integrated learning, resources is not the binding, resources is not the obstacle. You are free to use yourself, your children, the classroom walls, or the ground, or the plants, or the building. You will find that the whole campus is full of learning situations. So, another solid point I share with you is don't wait for resources and don't ever listen to this kind of excuses. I don't have this, we don't have this. We have so much that we are not realizing whatever is there near us. Rather tell you very frankly, your children are tired of both boxes of colors and canvases and brushes, because every mama and papa and bua and masi, chachi come with those kind of gifts, and they are tired of opening those boxes and they are wasting also. Because I can talk like this with audience. You are from those schools where children don't lack facilities. In government schools, they may be happy after they get one packet. But our children are loaded with over facilities, and I tell you very frankly, and also make you remember Gurudev, who said, when we have risk, when we have problems, we are more creative, because then हमारे जो सारे बच्चे हैं, टीचर्स हैं, वो थोड़ा जुगाड़ लगाते हैं. और tell you that is pedagogically, this is called problem solving attitude. I think our children today and we all need that attitude more and more, because every day there are n number of new problems, and children who are in a protected and with lots of loaded facilities of all kind cannot be ready to take the new challenges. So, now we can't take facilities from them who are born with those facilities maybe. But at least we can create a situation in the classroom where they are in problem, you have given them the problem and they come out with solution. That's called pedagogy. So this is another point that I want to share with you. With the experience that we get, I would like to highlight and highly recommend the point of process is more important than the product. Those teachers who believe in the process, they are considered the real facilitators or mentors. And those who keep on speaking like I'm doing right now, because I know that I'm on only 1 hour and I have so much to share. So you are pressurized at times. We should see that the process is more valuable. So when you do experiential learning, you create a little bit of experiences after 10-15 minutes. It can be of 2 minutes, it can be of 3 minutes. Those experiences strengthen process of learning. And the difficult process is always difficult but joyful. Process is always remembered. It's a sustainable print on our memories. जैसे मैं आपसे कहूँगी अपने बचपन का कोई बरसात का अनफॉरगेटेबल बरसात का दिन आप सोचिए और आपको 1-1.5 मिनट में जो नज़ारा याद आएगा, sitting here in this auditorium, you can be in water, you can be under a umbrella, you can be with your friends, you can smell the pakoras. I don't know what all you will go through, because that is the best moment that you had during your childhood, and now you are just doing that, and can also create new experiences. So those situations in the process, slightly tough situations, because why I'm saying it, those who are dealing with the senior secondary classes or secondary classes even, our children are very smart. Sometimes I get my colleagues, like I have been talking to Gulshan because I interacted with some of the students and I found they are much ahead than some of our teachers and faculty. Don't mind if I say it so bluntly. Have faith in your children. They are born with information. So much information load is there that you are telling them something, you are defining something, within seconds they Google, they'll know मैम ने जो बोला या सर ने जो बोला वो कितना ठीक है, और या जो सर ने मैम ने बोला उससे ज़्यादा मैं कहाँ से और ग्रहण कर सकता हूँ. So I will make that point. In experiential learning and in joyful learning, in holistic learning, we never pose or we never believe that we know everything. And I'm telling you very frankly, I'm sitting here in NCERT, in many fields, no less than you guys know, and definitely lesser than our children. Only thing that we know is the technical pedagogies and how to strategically plan that and all, but information, I think you guys are much ahead. So, a thumb rule that is always good to tell your children that together we'll learn, we'll explore. This is a healthier way at home and in school also. Because then it's a collaborative learning. Collaborative learning is, the term is not only for 2 or 3 or 5 teachers working together. It is the students also. They are the rather major portion of bringing more oxygen to learning. So why not do that? And it's a double-edged sword, because what do you do or what are you doing this way? एक तो आपका load थोड़ा सा कम हुआ, they will come prepared. They have explored it. Another, the learning has already started. You just have to reinforce certain points, and that also with the help of maybe music, maybe theatre, maybe drawing or photography or videography or whatever is your day that day. Like you feel that I want to do this or I want to give this to the children. Okay, so how do we make process more important and to make the process interesting and more important, you have to involve them. Here the point comes that good teachers and teachers who are leading the experiential learning classrooms speak or work 20% time, and children are occupying 80% time. So this is a sort of indicator for us कि मुझे कितना देर तक बोलना चाहिए, कि ये ध्यान जरूर रखना आर्ट इंटीग्रेटेड लर्निंग में ये होता है. हमारे educational administrators को भी we always tell that you don't always think that teacher is a machine and whenever they go, teacher should be doing this, teacher should be doing that, and children will be quieter. Rather, it's the other way around. Teacher is quieter, children are sleeping, and teacher is just going around to different groups, inspiring them, engaging them, and see that how things are going, so that they are really learning, they are working on that. So this was another point that I wanted to share with you. Now, before I take question, or because I think that is important in between, I have asked ma'am to have questions which are very relevant and answers many questions. But I would like to say one more thing. When you have been listening to such sentencing, holistic learning, sustainable learning. Now, what is holistic learning? Holistic learning is where all the three domains of a learner, means head, heart, and hand. So 3 H. In other words, in educational terminology, cognitive domain, psychomotor domain, and affective domain, where the affective comes to the affect side and also to the social emotional aspect of it. So when three entities or three domains together are active in a learning situation, that learning turns to be permanent kind, holistic of course, because you are not just active from cognitive side, which most of our classrooms were doing. And good schools definitely much ahead of NEP and all, because they were doing earlier also. And I think Bhavan's come under that category. Of course, there are many schools here, but I have good experience of Bhavan's, that more people were doing this kind of things. Of course, maybe they know the pedagogy and why they are doing, but they were doing something. So, art integrated learning, because it works with the head, hand, and heart. It brings all the three domains together, so the learning is permanent. It is not that I am from the field of arts, so I should speak just of arts. We should very clear in pedagogy why we are doing. I am not here to teach you the subject, because you know more than me in your subject. And rather, all our training programs or capacity building programs should be only and only in pedagogy and not in subjects as such. Maybe subject pedagogy, because some subjects, for example, languages have a different kind of pedagogy, which gets covered when we art integrated learning also. But some people might like to add to that. So in our Nishtha programs also, you must have seen that we are working more on pedagogy, not on content. Content is there with you. We have to learn from you that. But pedagogy, we have to run with the time. Especially with the children who are so close to presents and so efficient with presents, which we are not. So with this, I have covered mota conceptual understanding of art integrated learning, except one which I only 1 minute, that art integrated learning is using arts as pedagogy. And art education, some of our teachers may be from the field of art education. Art education is a curricular area, it's a subject like any other subject. So those who are teaching learning art education, they are working more on the skills of art, developing ability of students to do particular art in a perfect style with all kinds of grammars. But a physics teacher or a language teacher or history teacher or social science teacher or EVS teacher is using arts, all kind of arts, to explore criteria for better learning. You don't have to bother about what kind of drawing a child is doing. You are not bothered what kind of theatre a child is doing, what kind of voice has, whether singing melodiously or not that melodiously. Because melodious they all are, but my liking or somebody else's liking or evaluators may think he or she is not, but they all have their own melodies. So, when we talk art integrated learning for all of us, for all subject teachers, we are talking of arts as a resource, as an interesting, joyful resource for experiential learning in your subject. So you are not commenting on the art ability of the child. Please remember. Somebody is singing in a very professional manner, okay, we appreciate. But also we tell there is other person, time has taught us that all kind of voices can be appreciated and come to the top. Yeah? So this was the last thing that I should have told in the beginning itself, but I prefer not teaching it in a conventional manner, so I keep it for the last. So I think from my side, hurriedly I completed this, but the questions would make me speak deeper if you are interested. So would it be? Over to you.
Thank you, ma'am. And dear audience, if you have any questions for Pawan ma'am, you can write it on a piece of paper and give it to me. In the meanwhile, ma'am, Pawan ma'am, there are some questions from the teachers of our school. So are we good to begin with that?
Yeah, yes. I listen.
Yes, ma'am. We have one question
Meanwhile, we can come with other questions. So somebody can read on their behalf, because I saw that when they speak from the website, to me there is a lot of people.
Yes, ma'am. I'm here for that. Ma'am, we have one question. We have a question from one of our teachers, Ms. Sheetal. Can we have her over here? And then followed by Ms. Sheetal, we have Priyanka from the Science Department.
Thank you so much.
Slightly louder.
Yeah, namaste, ma'am.
Namaste.
I hope I'm visible.
Yes, very much.
First of all,
with a nice style. Yeah.
Ma'am, first of all, thank you very much for such an enlightening session. It was beautiful listening to you, though I have attended a session, online session also, yours on Nishta platform. Anyways, ma'am, besides all the pedagogic interventions, is pause procedure what we call? Though you've already kind of mentioned after 10 minutes, the students need a break, right? You know, and somehow, you know, some art activity or some activity you can engage them in. At the same time, like, you know, pedagogic and pause procedure, is that also a pedagogic intervention? And if yes, how we as teachers can use it more effectively in our curriculum transactions? If you could kindly enlighten us with that also. Like, I'm an English teacher, PGT English.
Can you just repeat what as pedagogy you are talking about?
It's pause, like, you know, like teaching and taking pause. Taking pause is as important in teaching as teaching itself. So those pauses. So if you could enlighten us, yeah.
Of course. You see, जैसे कहते हैं ना कि whatever little pause you can give is good. But you see, if in that pause, you want your children to remain with you and get more engaged, then it's better to give a guided experience. And that guide, so that everybody is on the same platform. For example, if I say, you remember whatever you like, you would all think of different things. Maybe today you will like to talk about some color, somebody would like to talk about trees, other would like to talk about the cold drink or something. But as a teacher, as a facilitator, I have an agenda, I have a plan, and I have to take them from there to the learning journey. So this is a stepping learning journey that you are giving them pause, but in that pause, they are still in that atmosphere where they don't go out and you don't have to spend more time to bring them back. So this is the strategy that teacher has to use. Pause, of course, what you're saying, even half a minute pause is enough, but make that pause psychomotor also. Yeah, mentally to there. Thank you.
Thank you so very much.
Wonderful question.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. So, ma'am, now we have Priyanka from the Science Department.
Okay.
Namaste, ma'am. I hope I'm audible.
Namaste, Priyanka. Yeah.
Ma'am, it was wonderful interacting, hearing you once again. Many new things that we have learned today. Ma'am, my question is that when we talk about art integration, what I usually see in my classes, that some children don't find it that interesting. They feel that technology is modern, technology speaks their language, technology connects with them more. So how can we use in schools like optimum usage of technology, maybe digital art, to get them, everyone excited for this?
Wonderful.
Thank you, ma'am.
Very good, Priyanka, to bring this point out, because you see our children have so much of digital resource, and we also, like for example, now when we are talking of trees, suppose even we don't have, because now our children are carrying their mobiles, and we allow also, especially in secondary stage, even in middle stage we are doing that. Thanks to COVID, because that channel is open now. Suppose we are talking of trees, you gave them half a minute to experience first, because that experience is something very personal, so you should conduct, where they are physically involved. But after that you can say, let's go through certain images, let's explore on that, because there is so much of greenery, vegetation, many kind of trees. So the tree which you are trying to focus, let's see what all characteristics or qualities it has, and then let children talk on that, based on that. So you see, from one step to another step. Or for example, after talking of trees, now you are talking of water cycle. There is so much which is there related to trees, and our internet is full of those kind of things. So children will easily go to those images and maybe start drawing, because if they know that those apps, they can make their own, and you can tell them that now based on that, let's create our water cycle. Children can do that, because ICT, use of ICT is our future. It cuts on the time and still gives same experience if we plan strategically. Yeah. So thank you for that question.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Ma'am, there is one more question from the mathematics department of the school.
Why not?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, the question is, which is the most effective pedagogy for teaching mathematics so that the students get rid of the phobia attached to the subject? I think this is a universal problem with everybody.
Yeah, very soon, rather you will have handbooks for teachers, where some of the exemplars from Bhavan is also there. You know that your teachers have undergone that process, and I'm heavily indebted, and the kind of work Bhavans have done. So thank you for that. That's there. And mathematics in secondary also, what we are doing now, we have focused on science and maths more. It's not that science and maths is very difficult, but the only problem is that the learning is on the situations which are very abstract. So I think these are two areas, especially in mathematics and in science chemistry, where our teachers and children need to bring in arts or other activities. Of course, there are lab-related activities which anyway you people are doing, but there is a difference in that and what art does, because art is not teaching aid, it's a learning process, and there is a huge difference in the teaching aid and in learning process. So in mathematics and science, all these activities are relevant, but we have to plan it accordingly. For example, we will talk about the trees. Now, conducting good art experience of looking at that tree and becoming a tree. Teacher can lead the whole group. If you are a primary level teacher, you might talk over the categorization, classification, estimation, plus minus based on the leaves or fruit. If you are slightly on the higher side, like children of 6th, 7th, 8th, you can still use all these skills of mathematics where plus, minus, multiplication, division and everything is there. Apart from that, the level increases. You can talk of volume there. You can talk of weight estimation there. You can also have certain activities which are multidisciplinary. Like today morning I was going through, because I was in a meeting with ministry, so we are planning certain curricular areas for a national school. Well, Uchan knows about that. So we were talking about that, and there were some activities that I was writing, which I see many these reality show people, Kapil Ka show and all, you must be seeing that, because I don't need that times to idea what all happens and what makes people happy. So I like doing that. We were doing it in a more dry manner. They are doing with film personalities, they are doing it in a different manner. That two children are sitting together, or two teachers are sitting together. This is good for you also. It will keep us, our mind more agile, brain more agile, and dementia will not happen. So we should also do these activities once in a while. That we do think of two things. Like I'm thinking of something, you are thinking of something. I draw it in 10 seconds. And then you have to guess what I have drawn. And you are given only 5 questions. And in those 5 questions, we take children. If they are children, I tell them that you don't have to speak. The question has to be in the drawing state. If it's teacher, we don't give them that much of psychomotor work, but we tell them that you can also ask, because sometimes teachers get irritated when they don't reach faster. So they are estimating based on 5 questions. Now looking at your application of estimation, this is mathematics. How do you reach there? Mathematics is not just 4 plus 4, 8. It makes you a person who can solve certain problems just in a theoretical manner also, not doing any work. So in mathematics there is so much that we, and it would be good if some teachers, when they are having some staff room time, do these activities, make note of it. Because when we are together, we come up with so much and experiences in staff room when we start sharing, contributing in this kind of icebreaker. But do only icebreaker. Don't go those kind of activities कि आपने प्लस का एक रंगोली बना दी तो प्लस का सिंबल बच्चे ने बनाया चलो जी रंगोली बनाओ. This is not art experience. या आपने क्लास में इसमें जो है रंगोली करा दी या चॉक ड्राइंग करा दी या ड्राइंग करा दी तो you say this is the art experience. Another echo. Suppose I ask children in team, not individuals, and this is a bit interesting activity. The teachers do it very well. That two children together are creating puppets, very simple puppets, stick puppet, with the paper, cardboard, whatever is waste material is available. And with that, they make a head of the puppet with that symbol. And there are 10 lines about that particular sign. Suppose I am plus, I am playing the plus. Now I tell the whole class what plus means and why I am better than others. And just imagine by doing this, making a story out of plus sign makes all children remember what does plus mean. And when I talk of multiplication, then the plus is there, or she says that I'm this, multiplication says, no, I'm better than you, I'm smarter than you, I do this, I do that. And you see the whole class is listening. And when you explain this, you ask certain question as a pause, giving them pause, they will learn mathematics better. So, I'm not giving you a ready answer, I'm just trying to take you around what all is possible. But of course, art integration, another example who is becoming longer, I must share because this is a very relevant material on NCERT website. You must listen to a neurologist, and we have a film. And I think I shared that film long back with Gulshan. If not, we'll be doing that. This is art as brain developer. And there's a whole interview and there is a PowerPoint presentation by this neuro person. He says that dance and music, these are two art forms. When children are doing dance, it has been seen in MRI that the areas of our brains which blink at the time of when children are enjoying or doing mathematics, the same area blinks when children are doing dance and notations in music. So he has spoken elaborately on this, that this he says these art activities, art experiences are like gym for brain. And when you do this, their mathematical skills naturally, organically improve. So there is so much that he has spoken about maths and arts, different art forms. So I hope that I'm able to give you a hint to all of our science and maths teachers that yes, you need arts as learning experience, and it's really a magic.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank you, Pawan ma'am. I think over here, this is the best forum, Pawan ma'am, where I can share the example of exemplars, which you mentioned just now. Dear audience, dear this August gathering, we have been fortunate that under the guidance of our worthy Madam Principal and the unflinching support of Pawan ma'am, this school has published exemplars in several subjects of English at the secondary and senior secondary level, social sciences, science, mathematics, and there are many more. I'm sorry if I forgot. And I must, Pawan ma'am, this is your, I don't know I should go personal or not. But ma'am, the 3 days workshop which Chitral ma'am and Principal ma'am had attended with you at NCERT last year, ma'am, I must say, Chitral ma'am especially, she was radiating with creativity, innovation, and it was all infectious spreading. I hope, Principal ma'am, I'm right in saying so, and that was Principal ma'am's compliment to Chitral ma'am, and it was your vision, ma'am, your guidance that we all have started incorporating art integration in our as a pedagogy in our teaching and learning, and we are so very thankful to you for giving us this platform, for making our school a part of the NCERT website. Thank you so very much, ma'am.
I would just like to add one sentence here, that it was not only me, it was interest on the part of Sunita. I must appreciate her, salute her, that being senior teacher and after so many years of teaching and learning, she was able to say and feel that yes, it's an eye-opening experience, and now I'll be doing it. And I saw her doing science here with the science colleague. She was taking so much interest. So unless she had that interest, she would not have really learned and done what she has done back in the school. So I'm so thankful to to such teachers who take real interest in new learning. Thank you, Sunita.
Ma'am, here she is.
I must say.
Ma'am, I just want to thank you for introducing AIL pedagogy in the secondary classes. Since October, we have been incorporating AIL pedagogy, especially in social sciences. It has really created a joyous platform for the children, especially those 20%, 10% those who are not involved in social sciences, and 10% who are very good in other subjects, and they think that they can do it on that. Their involvement is really very remarkable, ma'am. Thank you so much. Under your guidance and inspiration, I could learn so much in those 3 days, which I am helping my department and the other teachers also to go through. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you. Your example is going to be there in the national guidelines on AIL for secondary teachers. So that's a great thing, great news for Bhavan.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. And thank you, Gulshan ma'am, giving me such an opportunity for doing all this, and also meeting you, ma'am. I'm honored for that.
All your efforts and interest here.
Ma'am, see our principal, ma'am, already she has an infectious smile and presence. But I think this infectious smile and positivity, though we are all online, but I think it is there in each one of us. I hope I'm right in saying so, dear audience. Yes. Thank you. And ma'am, we have another question from our school's junior coordinator, Radhika ma'am.
Okay. Hi, Radhika.
Namaste, ma'am.
Namaste.
Ma'am, with the inclusion of inclusive classrooms that we have, which pedagogical approach do you think is most suitable for the early childhood education?
Thank you.
Ma'am,
thank you, dear, for bringing this concern up. Thank you. So, should I start speaking, or there's something else you would like to say?
I also had an add-on, ma'am. And ma'am, I was also thinking that since we have talk of individual differences in children, is it appropriate to just follow one pedagogy in one classroom, or should we have a combination of more?
Good question. Thank you very much. On behalf of all, you have raised a nice question. First of all, you are an individual pedagogue. Every teacher has the ability and capacity to be the actual pedagogue in the class, because nobody can force you. And the best, like in kitchen, no? Most of us have that experience. In kitchen, you are not always following what you were told by your grandmothers or other senior sisters, or by the YouTube. After once, when you try it once, you add masalas of your choice, and that is your touch. That is Midas touch. That is the best touch I always call. Because वो जो wow factor आता है ना, वो तभी आता है when you add your expertise, your specialty, and your comfort with that. Okay, so art integrated learning, you will find that in all the materials is very clearly written that whatever exemplar we are giving, maybe Sunita's exemplar is what we are giving for the social science, but there will be so many people sitting here, they'll read that, they'll do once, then for other things they'll think, okay, I can add one more thing, I can add another thing. Okay, so one is this, that no one pedagogy should be the Bible. You are free, you can pick up whatever suits you the best, because you have to be comfortable with this tool. Pedagogy is a tool, and the impact will show you what more you can add in your family. If spices and mirchi is desired more, तो आप थोड़ा सा ज़्यादा, आपके बच्चे कैसे हैं उसके हिसाब से करेंगे. If you think they don't need this, they need a slightly lighter side, then you select slightly lighter side. So your tool should be adjustable. Okay, and no one pedagogy should restrict you for teaching learning. Okay, so I hope it's clear to everybody, because you know better what works for you. Now the second thing, inclusive. Actually, what is inclusive? When we say inclusive and दिव्यांग, ये वो बच्चे होते हैं, मैं तो अपने आप को भी दिव्यांग में समझती हूँ, क्योंकि हम लोग सारे जो हैं, जो भी आप सब बैठे हैं, क्या ये सच्चाई नहीं कि we all are unique? No two persons, even siblings, even जो है जिसे क्या कहते हैं, resembling type, जो twins होते हैं, तो या look alike, उनके भी जो टेस्ट है उसमें फर्क होता है. तो ये साइकोलॉजी बहुत बार कह चुकी है, इंडिविजुअलिटी जो है इज द गेम. पर हमें और जो लर्निंग है वो कैसे होती है, ये दो चीजें यदि हमें पता है तो हम अपने टूल को एडजस्ट कर सकते हैं. व्हाई आर्ट इंटीग्रेटेड लर्निंग इज मोर सक्सेसफुल इन इंक्लूसिव सेटअप? बिकॉज in any kind of specialty or ability in specialty, हमारे बच्चे का दिव्यांगपन कौन सा जो है वो हायर साइड पे है, कौन मिसिंग है, उसमें हमारी तीनों एबिलिटी ही तो आती हैं, कॉग्निटिव, साइकोमोटर एंड अफेक्टिव. अब जो बच्चा देख नहीं सकता, और इसके लिए साइकोलॉजी में, एजुकेशन साइकोलॉजी में एक और टर्म यूज करते हैं लर्निंग के टाइम पे, जिसे आजकल बहुत कहा जा रहा है, मतलब दीज आर ऑल इंडिकेटर्स कि क्या हम ठीक कर रहे हैं कि नहीं कर रहे हैं. तो टिप्स है, तो उस टिप में ये कहते हैं एनी लर्निंग और टीचिंग विच इज फोकस्ड ऑन जस्ट वन सेंस, जैसे देखने से ही संबंधित है या सुनने से ही संबंधित है या चखने से ही संबंधित है, वो कंप्लीट नहीं है, उसका लॉन्ग लास्टिंग इफेक्ट नहीं होगा, वो मेमोरी में ज्यादा देर तक नहीं बैठेगी, शॉर्ट मेमोरी में रहेगी. ठीक है, जैसे जैसे सेंसेस की क्वालिटी बढ़ती जाती है, जैसे जो दो सेंसेस थी तो वो थोड़ा और लर्निंग बेटर होगा, 3 सेंसेस जुड़ जाएंगी और बेटर होगा. तो आर्ट इंटीग्रेटेड लर्निंग जो है, ये स्पेशल इंक्लूजन में यदि कोई बच्चा देख नहीं सकता है तो हमें एक्टिविटीज ऐसी करानी है विच आर मोर ऑफ टच एंड फिजिकल. उसके बाद हम उसको एक्सप्लेन करेंगे. मैंने तो जो हमारे बच्चे विजुअली इम्पेयर्ड थे उनके साथ इवन टीचर, हमारा मैसूर में मैंने प्रोग्राम किया, उसमें 2 विजुअली इम्पेयर्ड टीचर थे. आई फाउंड दैट दे वर मच स्मार्टर देन अदर्स. ओनली थिंग वाज दैट आई हैड टू स्टार्ट विद द टच and such activities where they smell and hearing, these 2 points would dominate. So आर्ट इंटीग्रेटेड लर्निंग में कोई भी आप एक्टिविटी करो, म्यूजिक करो, डांस करो, थिएटर करो, विजुअल आर्ट करो, इवन इन विजुअल आर्ट पत्थर से काम होता है. तो बच्चे जो हैं, जो भी की दिव्यांगता है उसके बावजूद दूसरे बच्चों से हमने पाया ज्यादा बेहतर चलते हैं. और जो दिव्यांग बच्चे हैं, देखा गया है कि यदि खास करके विजुअल और हियरिंग का है तो उनकी दूसरी जो फैकल्टी है ना, राइट साइड ऑफ ब्रेन की, वो बहुत शार्प होती है, यानी कि दे आर वेरी गुड विद आर्ट्स. they are good in music, they are good in dance. Now we have a number of examples. Divyang children performing so well that you can't make out that they are Divyang. So art integration is very much for the inclusive, and in all our guidelines you must download the guidelines from NCERT website, because for foundational stage and primary stage and the middle stage is already. Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Do we have any question from the audience?
We can, though I have still 5 minutes with me, but because I thought that it will end at 2, but I'm happy to answer for 5 minutes more. So you can see what question you would like to take. One, they can take 2 questions.
So we have, ma'am, we have one question from Mr. Ashu from the English department.
Okay. शुक्र है कोई तो मेल मेंबर था दूसरे से.
Namaste, ma'am. Thank you for the enlightening session, ma'am.
मेरे कहने को अदरवाइज मत लेना. मैं आपके सामने होती तो आपको बहुत हंसाती थी, पर काश मैं होती वहाँ.
Ma'am, next time, sure, ma'am. Ma'am, my question is, I have found art and trade learning to be very good. However, when it comes to testing, in question papers, it is not covered at all. And I feel there is a gap, because when we teach, we use all the art or different things we can use, but in papers, that is completely ignored. So what's your take on that, ma'am?
Yeah, thank you. वो पंजाबी में कहते हैं ना कि नारदी टक लो आरदी कोई ठग. आप बाद में आए कुछ बड़ा सॉलिड क्वेश्चन पूछा. That's great. Thank you. 2 चीजें हैं, because it's a very serious question and we are dealing with it, and we have covered this point in guidelines also, and now we are giving it in handbooks also. We are talking of art integrated learning as the best suitable tool for all the 3 kind of evaluation or assessment for learning, assessment as learning, and assessment of learning, which is like our terminology and our philosophy for 360-degree evaluation also. It's a systemic change that we are talking of, because unless we change evaluation, many people will not change the pedagogy. So it is a requirement, it is the need. But there is more than 1 studies in India and plenty in other countries, especially in Europe, that it has been seen that whatever is the evaluation criteria, if children have learned things well, if they have learned the concept, they can answer the question in whatever way you are asking them. But that doesn't make us change our evaluation system. So NCERT and CBSE, you know that CBSE is already talking of holistic card. What is holistic card? It's not only on the theory side or the conceptual side of whatever children are learning. It's the doing part. All the competencies that now we are talking, NCERT has already brought out the learning outcome documents, and now the new NCF which is coming, all full of competencies and all. So if you see that different subject-based competencies are there, and what do we mean by competencies? Competency means that not only the cognitive knowledge, but the total understanding of dealing with that subject and applying that in our day-to-day life. So when we talk of this, then you are sure that pen, paper or pencil paper tests are going to disappear to some extent. Of course it will remain there, but activities and the experiences and the peer, self and teacher, because teacher is getting reduced to now 34 to 35%, and children and peer learning and their evaluation assessment is also being taken care. So the new concept of assessment is going to change based on the experiential learning in the classroom. But well, till then, जब मानो वो डॉक्यूमेंट हमारा या उस तरह की जो असेसमेंट पॉलिसी है उसे आने में, जो कि स्कूल बेस्ड होगी, ऑफ कोर्स no central agency will be involved at all level except the board exam. So all these things, you know, that might take some time, may take 1 to 2 years. Till then, you can yourself feel in your classroom that if you are doing experiential learning, then children level of understanding, applying it in day-to-day life have changed, and their answering skills, their comprehension level and their answering your questions will also improve qualitatively. So I hope that I am able to communicate on this particular question. Yeah? Yeah?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So can I thank everyone, especially the teachers, because they are the one who are listening me for 1 hour. And I hope that I'm not giving a wrong example myself. कि 10-15 मिनट बाद ब्रेक देनी चाहिए और बेचारों को उठने का मौका भी नहीं दिया सिवाय क्वेश्चन पूछने के लिए. आई एम सॉरी फॉर दैट. एंड गुलशन को देखना चाहिए था कि सेशन जो है वो तब रखे जब मैं 2-4 दिन आपके साथ रह सकूं. I would love doing that as follow-up, maybe after July, August. So thank you, Bhavans, thank you, Gulshan, and thank you the whole team of Bhavans, because you are wonderful. You are so much motivated to do innovative pedagogy. It's not only what we are giving from this side. I openly admit that I take a lot from you guys, because you are the one who are really working at grassroots level and making us understand what works, what doesn't work. So with these words, I thank you all, and my apology if I tortured you, making you sit for longer.
Not at all, ma'am. Not at all. It's rather a blessing for us. Ma'am, thank you so much. Ma'am, thank you so much for focusing on the nitty-gritty of art integrated learning. Thank you so much for instilling the fact that lack of resources is never a barrier. Thank you so much for taking us to our childhood activities. Thank you so much for telling us that process is more than product. And then from the Bhavan side, thank you so much for making us the actors and actresses at the Diksha portal. Thank you so very much, ma'am. And we thank you for making this capacity building program a resounding success. Thank you so much, ma'am, from all of us over here. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And a big clap for all of you.
Thank you, ma'am.
So can I exit now? Thank you.
Ma'am, we don't want to. We definitely don't want that.
But I need to, because I have another meeting. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I now request our Madam Principal, Mrs. Gulshan Kaur, to address this august audience.
Namaste everyone. I think these 2 hours, they simply did fly off, and I hope you all must be sharing the same emotions as what I am experiencing as of now. It has been like a kind of thought with us that whatever we do, we should be collaborating, we should be sharing with everyone, because learning has to be for all. And learning cannot be a burden for a child. And if learning is a burden for a child, then learning is not happening at all. We are standing at the influx. It's the education revolution 4.0. And with NEP, on its full swing, I should say, because within a matter of a few years, a lot of transformation is what we are expecting. And for that, we need to be prepared for as school leaders, we need to be prepared for as teachers, and we need to see that our children are getting the best. And for that, thank you so much, Makke, for bringing in that concept of positive school leadership and mapping it with positive psychology. In fact, if school leaders build up a positive work culture, that's going to impact a lot on the children. So your online course, I think all of us must be wanting to take it. So if you can share the link, we'll share it further with all of you. You can go in for that course and empower yourself. And as Pawan Sudhir ma'am is concerned, I have been working closely with her. She has been like an elder sister for me. And we have learned, in fact, over a period of a few months, we have evolved and we have seen that actually it makes a difference. I'll give you a small example. There is a chapter on stereotypes in class 6, and it's very difficult for children to understand and comprehend the term stereotype, and that too at a level of class 6 where the child is hardly, how many years? Hardly 11-12 years old child. So we thought of as how it has to be, and we made an exemplar also for that, thanks to Bhavan ma'am for it. We thought of like how to bring in that concept of stereotype, and then we landed upon that we'll do an activity in the classroom, and in a controlled environment, we'll ask the child, we'll give them a few seconds and we'll say, draw a scenery, whatever comes to your mind, and you have just got 5 minutes to work on it. And no talking, whatever comes to your mind, just sketch it. And the children sketched. Can you imagine what they would have sketched? Can you imagine that? Yes, as we all know, our teachers have taught that a tree with a sun, with mountains and this inverted V shape with a hut and a river flowing, almost every one of them drawing the same thing. So when we asked them that why did you draw this? They said, our teachers teach us this in class 3rd, 4th, we have been doing this only. I mean, when I presented this there at the National Forum, the audience there also said, okay, scenery means it's that inverted V mountains with the sun rising from at the back and then the river and then the trees and all. That's what a scenery is generally being conceived as. So what is this basically? It's a stereotype. Have you seen this scenery anywhere else? Have you seen it anywhere that you are sketching it? So it was a stereotype. It's stereotype. So it was easy to communicate that concept of stereotype to them by just making them draw a scenery for 5 minutes and then leading that discussion to, okay, now you draw what you actually have seen around as a scenery. And then when they draw, making them compare both and then leading that to the discussion of the lesson brings in better comprehension of the concept. And this is art integrated learning. So art integrated learning doesn't need that kind of rocket science. It's just very simple. You'll have to be very innovative and you'll have to see that whatever you do, your child learns with ease and your child absorbs it. And that is when learning becomes fun, learning becomes permanent. I'm not here to discuss all that, but I'm here to just thank you all so much for being here. All my parallel colleagues, the principals present here, all the teachers present here. And I'm so grateful that you took time out, and I'm hopeful that you're carrying a lot today with you. I wanted Pawan ma'am to be here. It was just her last minute assignment. I have to cancel her tickets yesterday in the evening. Because sometimes the ministry, they ask them for a lot of things and then restrict their movements. So that was what happened, but I'm so grateful that she agreed that Gulshan, I'll make it online with you and I'll ensure that there is some kind of interaction happening. And I think she did full justice with all of us. Thank you, Makke, and I thank Pawan ma'am and I thank the entire team, and thanks Avan for collaborating with us. Thank you so much. God bless you, sir.
Thank you so much, ma'am. My humble request to the school's Vice Principal, ma'am, Mrs. Sonia Pabbi, to propose a formal vote of thanks.
A very warm namaste to this August gathering. It has been a very engaging program, and I am honored to stand before you to express my sincere gratitude on behalf of my Bhavan family. First and foremost, we are extremely thankful to our ever supportive management, our exemplary, visionary and great mentor, our very own Madam Principal, for making this for us fortunate enough to get a chance to listen to the stalwarts of such eminence. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. We all know that Finland has been widely recognized for its education system, and we hope that this program has provided us all with valuable insights into incorporating their innovative approaches to school leadership. We are thankful to Mr. Makke, who generously shared his expertise, insights and experiences with us. We hope that we will be able to apply these perspectives to our own leadership practices and make a positive impact in our schools. Sir talked about positive screen time. This is what ma'am has also shared, Pawan ma'am has also shared in her presentation, that we can have when some question regarding incorporating digitalization along with art integration. So I could relate both the things. Sir also talked about gratitude ladder and having dialogues in the classrooms and inspiring students. We are so thankful to Sir for sharing his insights with all of us. It is believed that art integration is an essential teaching pedagogy that can enhance learning across various subjects while promoting creativity, critical thinking, conceptual retention, cultural understanding and collaboration among the students. The way Pawan ma'am explained various techniques and strategies for integrating art into the teaching was both informative and engaging. Ma'am's passion for the subject is contagious, and I could see that everyone in attendance was equally inspired despite it being a virtual session. Ma'am's expertise and knowledge on the subject is truly inspiring, and we have gained so much insight and understanding from her. We thank ma'am for that. We acknowledge the effort and time of this decorous audience that they have dedicated to attend this capacity building program despite their busy schedules. We hope that you all have found this program beneficial and that the knowledge and skills you have acquired will be put to good use in your respective schools. Your insightful questions and the thoughtful answers and deliberations by the knowledgeable speakers have made this program a rich, engaging experience for all of us. Our heartfelt thanks to Rhyme Group for their support, with a special mention for Mr. Avan, who played a crucial role in making this event a huge success. I would also like to place on record the efforts of all our staff members who worked hard to put this program together. Their dedication and commitment to make the program a success is truly appreciated. Once again, I thank you all for your time and effort. I request now everyone to rise for the national anthem, please.
Jana Gana Mana Adhinayaka Jaya He Bharata Bhagya Vidhata Punjab Sindh Gujarat Maratha Dravida Uttara Vanga Indra Himachal Yamuna Ganga Uchala Jaladhi Taranga Tava Shubha Name Jage Tava Shubha Ashish Mange Gahe Tava Jaya Gatha Jana Gana Mangala Dayaka Jaya He Bharata Bhagya Vidhata Jaya He Jaya He
Prerna. Thank you, everyone. Before we part, there are two announcements. One is the e-certificate participation for all the attendees will soon reach their respective registered school email IDs. And secondly, special request to all the directors, vice principals and the principals who've made it to the seminar that the refreshment is being served in the seminar room. You are requested to join over there. And my humble request to all the educators to be near the food court area for their refreshment. Thank you so much. Have a nice day. Thank you.